Let me go ahead and acknowledge this very inflammatory title of the video. I think this is a universal truth that can be nihilistic at times. And I'd like to talk about my experience with the role of Clara Johnson in order to shed light on the truth of the matter. In the performance industry, we are never owed anything. As singers, actors, performers, and creators, when we are auditioning for things over and over again, at the end of the day, we are not owed anything. We're never owed a role. We're never owed a position at a company. There's nothing that we are owed or that we are entitled to. With that in mind, I would like to talk about my experience of getting called back and cast in a dream role and not being able to play it. This video is part of a series where I explained that I landed a dream role, Clara Johnson, in Light in the Piazza. At the time, I was so excited and honestly flabbergasted that I was good enough to play this role. And it was perfect for my voice in every way. I fell in love with the music. And it all started when I was an undergrad. I was in an acting for the singer class, and my opera professor handed me an excerpt from Light in the Piazza, the romantic duet between Clara and Fabrizio. I instantly fell in love with this music, and I loved everything about the story because Clara had a story that was an untraditional ingenue, and I loved that. It was right up my alley, it was vocally right in my wheelhouse, and I felt like I was on the top of the world when I was singing this stuff, especially with an actor that I could be across from that was amazing and was equally as emotionally charged and vocally talented as I was. So I was very, very excited to do this in the scenes program. And then the end of the semester came, and my opera professor, with a twinkle in her eye, said, "We might be doing Light in the Piazza next semester," and I flipped out. Because who wouldn't, right? I flipped out. My dream role was actually a possibility in the future. And so that next semester, I was dead set on auditioning for it. I prepared the role, I printed out the entire script, I bought the libretto, I memorized it with friends and family over the break, and I came back ready to achieve Clara Johnson. Little did I know, they had another director that I didn't know so well come in and direct the show. So when I walked into the audition, I found somebody that wasn't as familiar with what I did and how I did things. And I auditioned, and I got called back, and I did my best. But ultimately, I wasn't cast. And when I went to the show, and I saw my colleagues up there doing the role that I wanted to do, I tried very, very hard to be kind and understanding and know that this was a chance of a lifetime for them, and it wasn't my moment, and that's okay. But I would be lying if I told you that I didn't cry on the way home. I cried so big and so loud. It was devastating. Fast forward a few years later, and I'm doing the thing. I'm freelancing as a singer. I'm singing operatic roles, and for some reason, I see this audition for Clara Johnson on my Facebook, and I go, maybe this is the right time. The audition notice came from a smaller company that was about a few hours away from me, but I was determined to audition for this. And lo and behold, the person who was casting it was actually somebody that I went to school with at my undergrad. So they knew what I was capable of and what I could do. I auditioned for the role, and I got the role, and I was so excited. I finally felt validated. I finally felt like I was on the top of the world and that everything that had been taken from me was given back to me, all in an instant. And then the pandemic hit, and the show was canceled, and a piece of me left. And I put off making this video because until recently, I haven't come to grips with how traumatic that experience was. And this brings me back to the PSA that I have in the title of this video. You're never owed anything. And that's not a negative. What that means is that we have to face the trauma that comes with not getting some of these things that we work so hard for. My point of this video is to point out a sobering reality and match it with a call to action. We must be looking at our experiences as performers and understanding that when we don't get something that we work for, that is a traumatic experience, and doing the work emotionally and finding why that was so traumatic and how to heal from that is just as important as updating our resume. So no, we aren't owed anything in the performance industry. But in my experience, the people who have successes in this industry, they keep going. That's it. Sure, they can have an amazing B flat. Sure, they can have lots of money. Sure, they can be a type of person that is amazing with donors, but they don't quit. And although we are never owed anything, we can have everything if we continue to heal and pick ourselves up and know that there is a community of performers going through what we're going through. Stop alienating ourselves and thinking that we are the center of the plight. We are never owed anything, and that's okay. But we can use that to move forward in a healthy way. I hope you have an awesome day. And I hope that as you go into performing after the pandemic, you realize that every single ounce of performance energy that you have in your body that's been locked up for the past few years, it's worthy of being on that stage. It's worthy of being on that screen. You gotta find the why. And it can't be vengeance. Thank you.